Yeah, advertisers, so rude. And that's the danger of really doing this on my phone, unfortunately. Yes, it is. It's my sister's Christmas present, so I can't really show you guys because if she sneaks in here and has a look, she'll know exactly what it is. So I can't really show you guys that one. Sorry. Give me 2 seconds. Oof. Okay. See what else I got. Do you know what else I got? Good news. Like how Posty's cool. And he lives down the road from us, so he actually knows us really well. So if he's got something and we're not in, or I'm not well enough to come to the door, he'll actually hold it on himself, and then Tanny will pick it up when he gets home. Awesome. I can show you that one, and I will do in a second. I just want to see what this is. What is this? It's Chrissy. Oh, honey, thank you so much. Really beautiful. This is really pretty. This is amazing. Ooh! Bugger. Oops, hang on. Oh. 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 Yay, a parsley. I love you, I love you, I love you. Right. Oh, honey. Thank you so much. That is so cool. So yeah, that's a little Christmas card that I got from... Hey! How you doing, darling? How you doing, Karen? I just got my card from Chrissy. Just got my card from Chrissy. That's so cool. Right. Rose is doing a math, so I'm just sitting here. Fair enough. Oh, that's so cool. That is so, so cool. I'm just kind of going through my seeds. I'm going to do an experiment this year where I am using as many seeds that I've saved from shop bought fruit and veg. Because I have kind of been banned by Mr. Tanny buying any more seeds this year. Because he's not here to see that I've had a delivery this morning. Of two particular seeds. Yeah, good to prove that it can be done, and that is the actual point. Okay, that's the actual point here. So I've got things like flat peach seeds. I've got, at the moment, I've only got red and green bell peppers or capsicums. But I've also picked up yesterday a packet that's got a yellow and an orange one, so I'm going to do those as well. I've got 4 different types of chilies that I found in the reduce section, you know, like the markdown, we're going off kind of section. I've got 4 different chili products from there. Sorry. God, the burbles. Yeah, and a couple other bits, which for me, with what I'm doing with my channel, I want people to realise it doesn't matter if you have nothing, you know, you've got bottle gourd seeds to send to me. Oh, honey, thank you. Well, these just arrived in the mail. Queensland blue squash. Like, everyone calls them squashes. I just call them a pumpkin. It's a pumpkin. To me, it's a pumpkin. But I found those, so I've got those. I'm going to be growing those next year, even though they're obviously not shop-bought ones. But you know, I'm going to be growing as much as I can from shop-bought. I have soybeans. They finally dried. That is so cool. That is so cool. I did get some special seeds last year. I did get them. I'm so pleased. And I have a friend who's going to be sending me some Kent pumpkins. Yeah, there's a bit of controversy about the Kent pumpkins, and if anyone's watched Mark from Self-Sufficient Me, they will have seen over the last year and a half his triffid that was his pumpkin vine. That particular pumpkin is the one that I'm looking for, the Kent pumpkin. Now, where I used to live in Gatton in Queensland, down the road is the farmer who came up with it, who developed it, and he just called it a Jap pumpkin, which caused outrage because people thought that he was being racist, because in Australia, Jap, calling someone a Jap is a derogatory term for someone who is Asian, Japanese, or whatever, and it spans from World War II and all of that kind of stuff. But actually, he came out and he said, well, no, if you look, it's actually J.A.P. It's called just another pumpkin. It just happens that the letters spell Jap. So in the end, he had to change the name of the pumpkin, and it was changed to his last name, which was Kent. So yeah, I would. It is a great name. It's a fantastic name, you know. But unfortunately, the connotation in Australia is quite. But we used to go down the road, and they'd have double pallets, you know, the really huge fruit pallets, massive things, so about waist deep, and we'd be able to pick up these pumpkins for like 1 cent each because they just couldn't get rid of them fast enough. These were just seconds from the field, you know, they weren't the ones that went to the supermarkets, they were just the crap that was left over, and we used to go and buy hundreds of them. And of course, because we grew them and threw the guts out onto the compost, we ended up with hundreds of them. So, you know, they are incredibly prolific. They're a really, really nice pumpkin as well. Or squash, or whatever you want to call it. It's a... Anywho. So, yeah, I would really love to get some seeds of that because it's actually one of my favourites. It's a really good cooking pumpkin. It's a good one for roasting. It's a good one for soups. It's a good one for steaming. It doesn't go to mush. You know, it's got a really nice texture. And it's not one that goes incredibly solid over the winter. It keeps well. Okay, it stores really well. So, yeah. Oh, it won't. But yeah, so a lot of the seeds that I'm going to be growing this year are going to be saved from stuff that I bought in the supermarkets, stuff like that. Anything that I've actually bought this year, unless it's specifically for a group thing, I won't be growing next year. I will only be allowed to use seeds that I've already opened. None of the new seeds, which is quite sad because I really, really wanted to give a go to starting to grow my spirit and my licorice, which I can't do this year because they need to go on the ground. We've got roasted acorn squash and feta toasted sandwiches for lunch today. Woman, seriously? How very dare you? You can go off some people. Seriously. One of the things that I want to grow when we move, because I can't do it here. I really can't do it here. Got me again. Hey, Daz, how you doing, darling? I would love a photo. Please do send me a photo. Yeah, pumpkin and feta are, yeah, they're two of my bestest favourites. So these seeds arrived this morning. It's a walking stick cabbage seed. Now, when I was younger, my parents and I used to go for holidays in summer to Jersey, and my grandmother, Nana Lucy, bless her, she bought a walking stick from there. Yeah, seed delivery. I know I'm not allowed to use them though. No, not allowed to use them till next year. Anywho, she got this walking stick, and it was great, and it had all these little knobbles on it and everything. And I used to love that walking stick. Loved it. Well, it turned out, we went for a drive one day around Jersey. This tiny little island. You can actually walk around it in a day. You can walk around Jersey. It's that small. And we went past these fields with these, what looked like, to me, looked like something from the Faraway Tree. You know, one of the lands from Enid Blyton from like the Wishing Chair Adventures or something. These massive, they looked like cabbages on stilts, okay? They were about 10 feet tall, these things. They were huge. And a massive great cabbage on top, and a stick, long stalk, this huge stalk. And I was like, I was entranced by them. I really, really was. I mean, I was all of about 7 or 8 years old. I was absolutely, you know, beside myself. And my nan said, my stick came from there. And I looked at her and she said, yeah, these cabbages were grown to make walking sticks. That's what people did with them. You can eat the cabbage, but the stick itself, when preserved and dried out properly, make incredible walking sticks. So I thought, because I am that kind of person, I want to grow walking stick cabbages. And I was like, sitting here the other day thinking, yeah, it is. They're amazing things. Have a look them up. Seriously, look up Jersey and walking stick cabbages and have a look, because you'll be gobsmacked at some of the pictures. This was one of the ways that they used to make a lot of their money on Jersey, was actually these walking stick cabbages. I just couldn't believe it. And you'd go through these fields, and they were, you know, all up on stalks. It was incredible. So I'm going to give those a crack, but not this year, which has made me sad, because I really wanted to grow them this year. Because I figured, look, if I'm going to have, I would like to have a stick, a walking stick that actually sort of is me. Now I have several. Most of them are stuffs, and they're in storage at my friend's house because we've got no room for them. And the stick that I have is, although it's good, the cabbages are really fine. They're perfect. They're fine. They're just like a normal cabbage. They're like a normal white cabbage to eat. They're not the Savoy type, so they don't have that sort of crinkle. They're just a normal white cabbage. Just happen to have a very long stalk, tree-like stalk, which is fine. A lot of the, if you ever see cabbages that have come from Jersey, they are probably a walking stick cabbage, but you won't know it. They'll just be sold as a white cabbage. They're probably about like that across, that I've seen, you know, but, you know, I mean, when I was a kid, they were probably this much across, but you know, the normal ones are about like this. But yeah, but they're good. They're just a normal white cabbage, which is really quite nice, really kind of cool, and I think would be a good one actually for doing things like the sauerkraut and stuff like that, which I've got bubbling away in the pantry at the moment. So yeah, but this year is definitely going to be more about saved seed from shop bought stuff, only using what I've got in open packets of seeds. I'm not allowed to use anything that I haven't already opened when it comes to the official seed boxes. So yeah, none of the fun stuff. I'm not even allowed to grow those. Furious. And I bought these because they're so cute. Look at those. Look at them. Aren't they cute? They're adorable. They're like little heart shapes. They're so cool. So I bought those ones because, you know, that's me. What else have I got? Well, I can grow these ones. These ones are the giant raspberries. We had no tomatoes this year. We can't even say that we saved any because we really didn't. They died, every single one of them. They do look prolific. I've got tumbling toms I can't open. I've got cowslips. The cowslips I'm not upset about because I want a specific place in the garden for them. Because I want to keep growing them. They're the specific wild variety, so I want to be growing those, and I want to be growing more of them, and I want to be propagating the plants so that I can either... It was hideous. It really, really was the worst year for tomatoes this year. Everybody. And the amount of people that I know who started growing and thinking, you know, I'm just going to start with tomatoes, because everybody starts with tomatoes just about, right? The first thing that they grow, tomatoes. And everyone lost it. And there was like the amount of people that I know who just went, I'm not bothering anymore, it's not worth it, you know. And it's like, well, hang on, everyone, not even you, has lost their tomatoes. So yeah, it's not just you, don't give it up yet. These, I wanted to grow these next year. I'm not allowed to do that either because we haven't moved. Very upset by this. Can you tell? Can you tell yet? You lost 60 plants. Yeah, I lost 47 plants. I'm not gonna... lost 47, so I'm totally with you, honey. Totally with you. To get the sauces that I made this year, I rummaged through the reduced section of the fruit and veg at the supermarket. That was the only way I could do it. So yeah, as it turned out, I was really worried about the Russian tomato, what I thought was the Russian tomato, to be honest. Turned out it wasn't a Russian tomato after all, it was an ox heart. So I wasn't as heartbroken when that one died as well. So, but I was pretty heartbroken. You just bought tins, yeah. Well, I figured, look, if they're going to sell, you know, shed tons of cherry tomatoes and stuff for 10 cents a packet, I'm going to take advantage of that and bring them all home with me. They can come home with me. Thank you very much. Yes. So I just did that. So at least I felt like I'd done something. Do you know what I mean? I mean, look, we still have a load of things like green tomato ketchup, green tomato curry, green tomato chutney, all of that kind of stuff left over from last year's season. So because we had some of the plants were out the front when the polytunnel blew away for the third time and was completely decimated this time, and I had to drag Tanny out of bed and he was completely hungover and still half cut, and we had to chase the polytunnel down the road at 6 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that was fun. So that so everything that was in it had to be brought out. Some of the tomatoes were ready to just go into pots, so they went out around the back. Any of the other tomatoes that left over, I just chucked them in the front bed and hoped for the best. And I wish I'd videoed it. I hadn't even started YouTube at this point. You guys missed so much last year that I could have just, I did have it on my Instagram though. There are pictures on my Instagram, but not any video. And at the time I hadn't really been thinking about it because we were too busy chasing it down the road. Have to go. Wife is not well and kids are being a pain. Oh, darling, that's all good. You take care too. Look after you. Big love to wifey. Mwah. So, yeah, I hadn't really been thinking about, taking pictures. I was more worried about saving the plants and getting the plastic back off the top of our very first. It was one of the Wilco's ones. We bought a 2x1 from Wilco's for 40 quid. I thought, oh yeah, that'll do. That'll be great. Nah, it's a piece of poo. And anyone who wants to buy one, please don't. Not unless you live in an area where there is no wind at all, because it won't tolerate it at all. And here in York, we get 60 to 80 mile winds at times, and with no warning. It'll just gust through because we're in a valley, and it just comes off the moors and hits here like a truck. And those particular polytunnels only have little plastic, very, very flimsy plastic joints on them, and they just snap. And by that time it had already snapped twice before and taken off, and that last time we just turned around and went, you know what, done. We're done. It's more gaffer tape at this point than it is actual joints. So we just took everything out and hoped for the best. And the tomatoes that we put out the front, we had 5 tomato plants we put out the front. We had 25 kilos of green tomatoes off them, and we'd had to pull them out before they'd ripened because they were overcrowding, because we literally let them go wild. We just left them there. You do what you want. But we'd also planted them in with the acorn squash, and the acorn squash was getting crowded out, so we had to pull them up. Yeah, but we had 25 kilos of green tomatoes, so we used them, and we still have stuff left over. Some of the little baby ones I pickled and did in a saltwater brine pickle, and then you take those out of there. And then I did come back. I had a very rude person ring me up, and it was very rude, and because I'm of course doing this on my phone, I thought it might have been someone after me because I filled in job interview applications and stuff. So, but it was a very rude person, and nothing to do with anything. Actually, it was just from the phone warehouse, which I have nothing to do with, and I'm not interested. And I was very cross with them back, actually. So yeah. How very dare you? You have interrupted me. So I did. Poor man probably didn't know what hit him, but I don't care. He's, rude. You don't know who I am. Do you not know how important this is? No, how very rude of you. So yeah, this year I am stuck to what I have. And unfortunately, you know, that will have to be what it is. Now, I don't know if you guys know. I'm really kind of hoping you know, because I'm not 100% sure. It's the kind of thing that I would just do because I do. Oh, they're open. Oh, cool. I'm just going through these ones to see what's open. That's open. That's open. Woohoo! That's open. That one's open. That's not. That one's open. Can you overwinter beetroot? I'm just curious. The reason I'm asking, it's quite an important reason, is that we've had a snow warning for tomorrow, and I'm hoping that I can leave the beetroot in. I don't really want to pull it out. Not really, to be honest. I actually got quite a lot of seeds that I haven't actually put in. What's this? Oh no, that's that. I've got seeds missing, guys. I have got seeds missing. This is not good. I have some strawberry popping candy corn seeds that are missing, and my Peter pepper seeds are missing. They're the ones I'm growing this year because they made me giggle. If you guys don't know what Peter pepper chilies are, please look them up. Do a Google search. Do it right now and then come back and giggle with me. Okay, so all of those are the ones I'm not allowed to use. They're all in the purple bucket this year because they're still not open. What? Who is that? What are you coughing about? You finished? Oh. Really? Oh. The cat. I don't know if you can see her. There she is. Making something happen. Really? You done? Really? Down good? Oof. You done there? No? Okay. Okay. No? Yes? Okay. You finished? No. What's going on? Go and have a drink. You'll be fine. Go and have a drink. You're here for the cat? She does this. She's got an old lady cough. She's nothing wrong with her. Okay, before anyone starts jumping down my throat, there is actually nothing wrong with her. We had her checked. It's just an old lady cough. She gets hair in her throat. You know how it is. It just happens. So, yeah. So what I am allowed to grow this year, since I put all that stuff away, are the things that I've seed saved myself. Is a hectic chase, right? Yeah. I could put in globe artichokes, but I can't because we're moving at some point. And those are the kinds of things that you need to put in where they're going to stay. Okay, so yeah. I've got some carrots. They're the little round ones. I could put those. They can go in. They can go in. I've got some Zucca pumpkins. I have to admit, okay, I'm going to give these Frenchy seeds one more go. I have not been really impressed with them, which disappointed me somewhat because they're quite expensive seeds. They're around about £4 to £5 packet. When I first bought them all, I spent something like 70 quid on them. I spent a lot of money getting these seeds, right? Because they're all sorts of stuff that I am interested in growing because it's the stuff that I like to cook with. So, and I don't find in shops. So, you know, but I haven't had a really good German, it's not, the germination has been about 50-50. Honestly, it's been about 50%. And the harvests have not been that fruitful. They've not. Our acorn squash, I mean, it could have been our soil. It could have been. Which is why I'm willing to keep going and trying different things to see if they'll actually come good. But, I mean, like, these are our acorn squash that we had from them, and they grew to about this size last year. When they should be out here. Let's be fair, a really good one should be out here, but they grew to about that. I didn't grow any this year. I don't know what I've got left in this lot. But it's a random packet, you know, with all the thingies. Cress seeds and radishes. Okay. Cress. It's not really the sort of thing that we're going to buy. Or, you know, to eat. I suppose I could do it as a little experimenty thing. Marigolds. Yeah, we're going to do those. These are the little English ones rather than the French ones. I grow these for medicine. And I grow the French ones for medicine because they actually do different things. Some people think they do the same. They don't actually do the same thing. They do different things. So, you know. Got Calabrese. That can go in for next year. Nasturtiums will always go in. They will always go in. So I've got some more of those for next year. Except these are the open. This is the open packet because obviously I'm not allowed to use anything that's not been opened yet. The giant raspberry tomatoes, I'm going to try those again. They actually did really well last year until they got blight. They were doing great and then they got blight. So I want to see how they get to where they need to be. Got some kohlrabi. I don't know. I feel like doing those in containers is a little bit of a pain because they do need a lot of space. Alright, Dawn. Go safe. See you in a bit. I feel like I would have to have one in each 10-litre pot. And that to me is a little wasteful, you know, because there's a lot of other crops I can have several of something in. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to put those in yet. It just really depends on how it looks for us as far as moving is concerned. It's kind of a decision that I'll make further in the year, I think, with that one. I'm going to try these again, the lavenders. I've been trying to grow lavender from seed. It hasn't worked so far. I have opened them already. I did try to grow them earlier this year. They just didn't do a thing. They didn't even germinate. They were not happy. They didn't want to do it. They weren't interested. Yeah. So, you know, not a lot you can do about it. If they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it, are they? So we'll see how we go this year with those. More radishes. These ones I found, they're the Cherry Bell variety. Yes, seeds. Seeds. These are the ones that I actually bought these off Franchi when they were only 40p a packet, and the only reason they were 40p a packet because they're coming to the end of their shelf life, as seeds do. But I've always been of the mind of I don't care about that. I'm still going to get something from them, and I grow those prolifically for the pods. I don't grow them for the radishes. I love radishes, but I would, from each radish plant, I can get 100 pods. So I don't see the point in growing a radish to get one radish when I can get 100 pods. And while we're container gardening, because we don't have that much choice, I'd rather get more bang for my buck, if that makes sense. So yeah. Sunflower seeds, I'm not going to grow those this year unless we move. It's not going to happen, because it's just a bit pointless. It's just a giant single. It's not anything special. It's just a sunflower. These, oh my god, I am growing these. I'm growing hundreds of these. I'm growing these forever, ever, ever. This is never not going to be grown in my garden. I love this particular variety of cucumber, the Saccharomyces hybrido. They are amazing. They don't have as thin a skin as a Telegraph, but they don't have as thick a skin as a Market More. They have just the right amount of skin. The flesh is perfect for cooking. So if you want to stir fry them, perfect for that, and they don't go mushy, which you can get cucumbers that go quite mushy, and it's not quite fun. But they are also perfect for raw, and they don't have any bitterness to them. Well, okay, that's not technically true. However, they have a sweetness to them, which is very unexpected, and it overtakes the bitterness, which cuts through the sweetness, which means that you get a perfect cucumber. So if you are not growing Saccharomyces hybrido cucumbers, do it. Do it now. Right. Cornflowers. I love cornflowers, and honestly, these were the first things that I ever grew as a little kid. My parents gave me because I wanted to grow stuff when I was about 6 or 7, and they said, well, we're not allowed to because we're renting this house, so we're not really allowed to put garden in. But there's a tiny little bit of ground there that doesn't have anything in it, and it is already a flower bed. So if you would like to, I will get you a packet of seeds and you can grow some flowers. And it was cornflowers. So they will never not be in my garden, ever. I was kind of hoping the ones that I sowed last year were going to self-seed, which is why I didn't plant any this year. And they didn't. Well, they should have, but they didn't. But I also grow these now for medicinal purposes. They're really, really good for as a blood cleanser, which is really cool. And they do a lot of good, and I have them dried in teas. But yeah, they're a good, yummy thing to have in the garden, and so pretty. Okay, so Market More cucumbers, definitely they'll get grown next year. Chard, yes, I'll be growing that next year as well. I should have put some in for winter. I think it's a bit late now. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's a bit late for me to put some in? We do have a snow warning for tomorrow. If I put them in the polytunnel, what do you reckon? Do you reckon? If I put in a couple of seeds in the polytunnel, do you think it's too late? I don't know. Let me know. Brussels, we have Brussels. We have lots and lots of seeds of Brussels, and these are the ones that are out the front at the moment. So we know that they germinate quite well. Romesco, these are my bestest favourites. These are my bestest favourites, and you will never not find them in my garden. Unless the pigeons have eaten them, or somebody else, or they've been nicked, or the plants have died. Same with cauliflower. I love cauliflower. This is a Cavolo Fiore. I don't speak Italian, so unless it's like ravioli, that's about as good as I get. Right, so there you go. And these are the mixed courgette seeds, which I grew last year, and I had mixed results with them. They weren't bad though. They weren't bad. honestly, they weren't bad. Well, I did have mixed results, but it was nice to have some green ones. I really love, see, because we have such limited space to grow in, what we've kind of decided is to grow the things that we can't find in the shops so easily. Let's go cauliflower, look amazing. Yeah, they do. They're awesome. They're so pretty, and they taste incredible. I love them. And I don't want to spend £4 on one. Do you know what I mean? At the supermarket, when you can find them, which is normally the markets, and yeah, they're about £4 each. So it's like, no. But yeah, I have a real thing about, in our garden, growing the stuff that we can't necessarily find in the supermarkets readily, or at a price that we're willing to pay. And as prices are going up, it's kind of becoming more important to be a bit more pick and choosy. It reminds me of Chinese architecture. Yeah, like the pagodas. You mean the roofs on the pagodas and stuff? Or even like the Emperor's Palace, where they've got the sort of, yeah, I get what, yeah. Totally get it. Yeah, so it's kind of what we do is grow at the moment the things that we can't necessarily get at the supermarket. Yes, we can buy cucumbers, but we can't get Saccharomyces burrito, the temples, yeah. Saccharomyces burritos. There are varieties that you can't get of tomatoes in the shops unless you're going to spend stupid amounts of money, or go to the specialty shop. The tomato farm down on the Isle of Wight is usually pretty good, and they've got boxes for about £11. But it's 5 kilos of tomatoes, and it's still £11. And when we can spend probably a £5 on seeds if you shop around well, and buy and have endless amounts of the tomatoes that we like, we prefer to do that if we can. Yeah, so when it came down to things like courgettes and things like that, I prefer to grow the Gold Rush because they're gold. And yellow ones in the shop are few and far between, really, really difficult to get. So I prefer those. And of course, Packer Pan squash. I grew up on these in Australia. These ones called custard white. They're quite a big thing in Australia, but until I started watching YouTube videos, I didn't realise how many people actually grow them really huge. We grow them until they're this big, and we have 3 or 4 on the plate, maybe 2 to 4 depending on how big they are, and they get steamed whole as a vegetable, and that's how we have them. Or we cut them in half and steam it and fry it on a pan kind of thing with some butter. But I'd never seen them until this year being grown to this kind of size. I didn't even know that was possible. So I never tried. I may try this year to do that. I'm a little wary of what the texture would be like, because I think it may end up to be a little bit stringy. I don't know. But if there's anyone who's watching who knows, could you let me know? Because I'm very curious about this kind of stuff. What else we got? I've got spinach. Yeah, we've been doing spinach for a while now. It seems to bolt really, really easily. I think that's another one that I might actually see if I can put a couple of seeds in the clay tunnel for now, because it is one of those colder time things. But no, I mean, I'm fixing my breakfast. All this food chat got me tummy. Like, oh bless you. You enjoy it, darling. You do that. Okay, so, and these are the beetroot we're growing at the moment. They're called Detroit. So I'll be able to grow those again next year. The beetroot that we have was all grown at the same time. It was all put in at the same time. But because it was all split up and moved around at different times, they're growing at different rates. So it actually has been a very weird form of succession growing without actually succession growing. Because I put all the seeds, for those of you who did see, very early this year, I put all the seeds in one tub, a big, long, square tub, and then just pulled them out as necessary to put them in the pots out the back. Petrol spinach is a good one, cut and come again, so less likely to bolt. Ah, okay, nice. So I like baby spinach. I'm not a huge spinach fan. I'm kind of just, yeah. But we'll just wait and see how it goes. But I will have a look at petrol spinach. I'm not allowed to use any of the bought seeds I haven't already opened this year. I am allowed to use saved seeds from shop bought fruit and veg though. And that's how I'm getting around a lot of things. I've got some Narte's Britain's Breakfast tomatoes. These actually were really, really prolific. My favourite veggie to grow. I don't know.